Hello my friends, welcome to what I'm calling a YA recommendations video, but really these are books that can be appreciated by adults as well. These are books that I enjoy that I would let my 15-year-old read. So these are not necessarily all written by Christian authors or are Christian books, but I feel like they pass the test, and I have either allowed her to read them, she's already read them and enjoyed them, or it's on her radar to read at some point. Her and I have like similar reading tastes, but definitely some differences. So I'm not saying she's going to necessarily love them all, but content-wise, I would be good with her reading them, which is a huge thing these days. There's also going to be a giveaway as part of this video. I recently reached 20,000 subscribers and have been meaning to do a giveaway, so stay tuned for information for that. As well, this is 10 books that I am considering like YA friendly, whatever it is, that I would recommend for like teenagers, that are clean, and that I would recommend for adults as well. But I'm going to be putting a list up on Substack in the next little while, once I can get it finished, that has 50 recommendations. So make sure that you are signed up to my Substack, which is my newsletter. It's free. It will be coming there soon. Yeah, so I have a variety. I tried to represent a variety of genres here. Let me look at my list. I know I have some like mystery, suspense, thriller books. I've got some fantasy. I've got some historical fiction, and I have some romance, contemporary romance. Kind of tried to get everything. So why don't we start off with fantasy, because I've been reading a lot of that lately. And one that I just read in March, and it just came out in March, so probably fairly new to most people. That is The Starblist by Angie Dickinson. This is my second book by her, and I don't know if I could pick a favorite, but I loved this one. It is a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, but it's not like some fairy tale retellings where you feel like you know the whole story because you know that fairy tale. I feel like that was a small part of it, and the rest of the book felt very new and fresh. I really liked that idea of like taking portions of a fairy tale but making it new. So we are in a kingdom where the people are slowly dying. About 20 years ago or so, these poisonous mushrooms started appearing and they are poisoning the air. And then our main character is Princess Seren. Her father has kind of always kept her isolated. She is supposed to be kind of coming out into society. And her father decides, instead of saying, yes, she is his heir, he is going to marry her to her cousin. So she has 7 boy cousins that are terrible from the neighboring kingdom, and she is supposed to marry the first one, and if they can't produce an heir in the first year, then she marries the second one, and she goes down the line. Well, she's not so fond of this idea, so she ends up fleeing the castle. This world also has a very unique magic system that I really enjoyed. There was lots of like things that came up that I was like, oh, I did not see that coming, which is always a bonus for me. I really appreciate kind of being in the dark and being surprised. And yes, it is a retelling, but like very loosely, very small portion of it. Definitely recommend it. Okay, I guess this one's fantasy, science fiction. A little bit more science fiction-y, I guess. The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England. I feel like if most people were going to put S. Anderson on here, most people would put Tress on, which is a great one as well. But actually, this is the one that my 15-year-old enjoys the most. This is actually her copy. This is such a funny book. I think that is one of the reasons I love this one so much. I mean, Brandon Sanderson does a great job with humor in his books as well, but this one was just surprisingly funny. So we follow this guy. He awakens in a clearing in what appears to be medieval England with no memory of who he is. This is in a world where time travel is a fairly frequent thing. I think you can get like time travel packages. And throughout the book, there are these pages that are like advertisements for Frugal Wizard Incorporated. And it kind of gives you a little bit of information about like what's going on. This one says, the intricacies of dimensional travel are unimportant, and we recommend that you do not trouble yourself with them. We here at Frugal Wizard Inc. have done the hard part for you. All you need to do is pick the package you want, and we will deliver one pristine Earth-light dimension to you. So our main character obviously picked a travel package, and I think he took a cheaper one, and he ends up in medieval England. And I don't know, it's just humorous watching him like blunder around. And one of the things that I love is he like rates random things, like this tree, 5 out of 5 stars for this reason, or whatever it is. It's just a lot of humor. So would have worked really well for the Read Your Bookshelf challenge for numerous. February was 3 or more objects. This has a book, a wizard hat, and a gun. Would also work for March because it's got a weapon on the cover. I don't know, it's really, like, it's kind of absurd, which is not normally a word that I like in books. My daughter loves that, but it totally worked. So if you like it or not, I would recommend it. Let's go into the suspense and thriller. I'm gonna share, 3 in this? Yeah, I'm gonna share 3 in this section because this is an area where it's really hard to find clean books, for sure. I'm going to recommend If I Run by Terry Blackstock. I blew through this series. This is not my daughter's normal reading genre, and she loved the series. We follow Casey Cox. Right at the beginning of the book, she comes across her best friend who has been murdered. And all sorts of things are kind of given red flags. I mean, obviously, the dead body. But she is quickly accused of murdering him. And of course, her DNA is all over the crime scene because she saw him and she, checked on him and stuff. So, of course, it's all over. So she goes on the run. And we follow her through the entire trilogy, which I always say, have the entire trilogy queued up because they end on cliffhangers and you just want to keep going. And so she's on the run. The police department, they hire kind of like a private detective to try to find her. And as he tries to find her and follows her as she's going from one place to another, kind of trying to stay hidden, he starts to realize what he's seeing of her actions while she's on the run do not line up with a killer. And I really like that. It was a really good book. Casey Cox is a great character. Enjoyed it. One that I read earlier this year is The Donor. And so one of our main characters is this 17-year-old girl. She's a hacker. The FBI have been to her house to visit her because she has hacked into things she's not supposed to. She is carrying a grudge. Her father died while working as a security officer at a medical plant, I guess. And she thinks that the higher ups are kind of covering up something. And then our other main character is the son of the guy that runs this medical plant. Isn't the right word. It's just this huge thing. They do a lot of I think they're trying to build some artificial organs. And this son finds out at the beginning of the book that he has, I think, 6 weeks until he is undergoing this major heart surgery. And he only has a 20% chance of survival. And so he's trying to figure out how to live so that he can be healthy to have the surgery. But also, if he only has a 20% chance of survival, he wants to do some things that he hasn't done before. And I really enjoyed seeing where the book went. I had no idea where we were going to be going. I feel like it was deep. It was clean. Very good. The last thriller that I will share is Not If I Save You First by Allie Carter. I really wish Allie Carter would get back into writing YA books because she wrote them so well. Her adult books, not so much. They have a lot more content in there that I wouldn't really even recommend for myself. So never mind for teens. This one is hilarious. So our main character, her name is Maddie. Back a few years ago, when she was younger, she had this best friend named Logan. He is the president's son, and her father was a Secret Service agent. But for kind of unknown reasons, Maddie and her father moved to Alaska and are living off the grid. And at the beginning of the book, Logan arrives and then all of a sudden there's like an assailant that comes and is trying to kill them. She's mad at Logan because she wrote him letters and she never heard back from him. And this is a very, like, if you want a cold thriller, it takes place in Alaska. There's a snowstorm. Not really what I'm in the mood for these days since there's still snow outside because it snowed again. But it would be fitting. I definitely like Allie Carter's YA stuff. Wish she would keep writing in this genre. Okay, let's go into a historical fiction. One of my favorites is the very first book that I read by Susie Finkbeiner, All Manner of Things. This one has to do with the Vietnam War. Our main character is probably about 17 years old. Her name is Annie, and her brother has enlisted in the army as a medic. When he enlists, he mails her the address of their father, who they haven't seen or heard from in years. And he says if anything should happen to him while he's in Vietnam, he wants her to let their father know. Meanwhile, her father shows up kind of out of the blue anyway. This book is great if you're looking for a book that has a prompt to have some kind of letters in it, because there are a number of letters throughout the book from Mike. I don't know if they're all from Mike. No, there's also from Annie as well. So it's not all told in letters, but there are a number of letters throughout. It's good, it's hard-hitting, it's very emotional, but in a really good way. Then we've got a Victorian or Edwardian asylum. I love The Lost Melody by Joanna Davidson Politano. Our main character in here, her father passes away at the beginning of the book, and she is a concert pianist. I think it's, yeah, a concert pianist. And she obviously can't perform while she's in mourning. But her father, when he died, left her in the care of a patient of an asylum that she'd never heard of, like very confused as to why all of a sudden now she's the person in charge of someone in this asylum. So she decides, since she can't work for the time, she is going to work at this asylum and try to figure out who this girl is. It is haunting in many ways. It is very good. It is a little bit anxiety inducing, but I do think it's in a good way, because yeah, I love it when an author can write a story and make me feel so many emotions, even if the emotion is anxiety and fear and a little bit of panic. It's very well done. I definitely wouldn't want to get trapped in a Victorian era asylum, that's for sure. Okay, and then I have to share a Ruta Sepetys. I think this is possibly my daughter's favorite of hers that she's read so far. I Must Betray You. This one is set 1989 Romania. They're under communist rule at the time. Our main character, his name is Christian, and he, at the beginning of the book, is told, who is it? Like the secret police, yeah, wants him to become an informer. They want him to spy on a few people, and in exchange, they will give him medicine for his grandfather, who is sick and suffering. And it's very interesting because I didn't know anything about communist Romania before reading this. And 1989, like I was 3 years old, so it feels so much more modern than reading something that was set like 100 years ago. And it's interesting watching him struggle to know if he should betray his own family. Seeing that inner struggle was really hard, but like really well done. This is possibly my favorite book by her as well. I've loved quite a few of them. This one is definitely one of the top. Okay, then I've got 2 romance recommendations for you. The first one is by Jamie Jo Wright, one of my favorite authors. Her and her daughter just wrote a YA romance called Love and Baseball, where we follow a girl who really just loves baseball and books. And to get her crazy aunts and some of her friends off her back, she makes up a boyfriend. She uses AI to generate an image and shows him her aunts and her friends the picture and says, yeah, this is his name. He's a catcher, a baseball catcher, and whatever. Well, she does this on the weekend, and on Monday morning there is a new boy in school, and his name is the same name. He looks just like the boy in her AI generated boy. And for whatever reason, he decides to play along with her lie and pretend to be her boyfriend. It is predictable, it is sweet, it is clean. It is not normally my cup of tea, but it's Jamie Jo Wright, so I had to give it a try. And if you or someone you know likes YA romance or wants to read one, I would recommend that one. And then the final one is 100 Days of Sunlight. I did a vlog reading a couple romance books almost 2 years ago, and I really enjoyed this one. I was very surprised. This is by Abby Emmons, and we follow a girl named Tessa. She has been in a car accident. Yes, it was a car accident, and has lost her sight. The doctors say that it might return. They think it will return, but for now she can't see. And she has a poetry blog. So her grandparents put an ad in the newspaper looking for someone to help her write up her poetry for her blog. And this boy named Weston ends up replying to the ad. I don't know why he responds, but he has no legs. And he's actually very thankful that she can't see, because she has no idea that he doesn't have legs. He doesn't want her to know. And then as we go, we get the story of how he lost his legs, which it's all very powerful. It's very well done. I was very surprised at how much I enjoyed the book. So there are 10 book recommendations that are YA friendly, YA appropriate. Like I said, if you want even more, definitely sign up for my Substack, which I will have linked below, because I will be sharing at least 40 more there soon, as soon as I finish my list. But now let's get on to the giveaway. Okay, so I want to give away a $25 Amazon gift card, and there are a few different ways that you can enter. So listen up, because I want you to do it right, because I want you to be able to win. The first thing you need to do, make sure you are subscribed to my channel. Then leave a comment and share a book that you have read because I recommended it, or a book that you want to read because I've recommended it. So your first comment will be sharing a book that you loved or want to read that I shared. If you want to enter again, follow me on Instagram, or if you're already following me, that's great. Leave another comment and say that you're following me on Instagram, and share your Instagram username so I can verify, so the winner is actually doing what they're supposed to. And then the third thing that you can do is make sure that you are subscribed to my Substack. So if you aren't already, go do so. If you are, all you have to do is leave a comment and tell me that you are subscribed. And you don't need to leave your full email address in there, but leave let's say the first 3 letters of your email address, and then you can throw in some asterisks at whatever it is so that I can confirm. So you have up to 3 entries by leaving a comment here, making sure you're subscribed is part of that, following me on Instagram, and subscribing to my Substack. Go ahead and enter, and I will be announcing the winner on my Substack because that's much easier to do than it goes out to your email. And I will be choosing the winner about a week from today. So get your entries in. And thanks so much for joining me, guys. Thanks for subscribing to my channel. Thanks for 20,000 subscribers. I appreciate each of you.